Agenda. Who is SUNRUN? Why now? Types of solar solutions. Recording. Outbound call. Compensation. Next steps. SUNRUN. SUNRUN is in the business of selling cheaper solar electricity, not expensive solar panels. They are a utility provider like Edison and PG&E that operates on a local level through the use of solar panels to produce electricity for homeowners. SUNRUN maintains and services the solar facilities the same way regular utilities do with power lines and electric meters. SUNRUN has 500,000 nationwide customers, including Costco Wholesale, the LA Dodgers, and we have an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. Why not? California reached 1 million solar rooftops in November of 2019. Did you know that 1/3 of those were installed over the last couple of years? 1. RPA's mandate. 2. ITC. 3. Net metering. Renewable Portfolio Standard requires all the state's electricity to come from carbon-free resources by 2045. Transition from dirty to clean power, shut down nuclear and gas, and switch to solar and wind, similar to dial-up internet to broadband and home phone to cell phones. Impact to utility. Over the next 5 years, SCE plans to invest more than $20 billion to upgrade and improve its aging infrastructure and equipment. Impact to customers. Electricity rates have shot up over 50% between 2014 to 2019, 13% in 2020. In addition, utilities are transitioning to a non-peak off-peak rate structure. Investment tax credit. The Solar Investment Tax Credit is one of the most important federal policy mechanisms to support the growth of solar energy in the United States. Since the ITC was enacted in 2006, the U.S. solar industry has grown by more than 10,000%, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs and investing billions of dollars in the U.S. economy in the process. What happens when the ITC expires? Once the investment tax credit expires, customers will still be able to switch to solar. The only problem is the government will no longer be subsidizing 1/3 of the project costs, which means customers will see reduced savings. Net metering, NEM. The NEM option allows you to receive a credit for the surplus electricity you supply to the electric grid. This credit will then be applied to your energy bill to offset all or part of the costs associated with the energy you consume each month. So-called Edison wants to slash rooftop solar incentives. Under Edison's proposal, new rooftop solar customers would be paid 8 cents per kilowatt hour for the excess electricity they send onto the grid, compared to the 15, now 22 cents per kilowatt hour they are generally paid today. What happens if NEM incentives are slashed? Customer generators that interconnected their systems to the grid prior to these dates are grandfathered into the former NEM tariff pursuant to decision D1403041. How solar works. Solar panels convert sunlight into green DC electricity. Inverter converts DC electricity into usable AC electricity. Existing electrical switchboard with new bidirectional metering installed. When the solar system generates more electricity than your household uses, the excess electricity goes back into the grid and spins your meter backwards, adding credit to your electricity bill. During peak periods and at night, electricity is imported from the grid. Solar solutions. Cash or solar loan. PACE, property assessed, clean energy. PPA, power purchase agreement. Cash solar loan. Pros: little or no upfront costs. May have a longer repayment period than typical home improvement loan, which may be preferable. You can directly receive tax credit and deductions. Consult tax professionals to see if you qualify. Cons: you are typically responsible for repairs and maintenance. This may involve contacting different manufacturers who could go out of business during the 10-20 year component life cycle. Debt may impact your debt to income ratio. Some solar loans place a lien on your property. In those cases, if you do not make your payments, this could result in foreclosure or make it more difficult to sell your home or refinance your mortgage. Pays. Pros. Little or no upfront costs. May have a longer repayment period than typical home improvement loan, which may be preferable. You can directly receive tax credits and deductions. Consult tax professionals to see if you qualify. PAYS financing result in a first priority lien on your property. Your bank may require you to pay off the PAYS assessment prior to refinancing. If you do not make your PAYS payments, this could result in foreclosure or make it more difficult to sell your home or refinance your mortgage. You are typically responsible for repairs and maintenance. This may involve contacting different manufacturers who could go out of business during the 10-20-year component life cycles. For PPA. Pros. Little or no upfront costs. Solar provider is responsible for monitoring, maintenance, and repairs. Minimum energy production often guaranteed. Cons. Selling home may be more complicated than with a purchase system. Options typically are: the new owner must qualify to take on the lease agreement, you continue making the payments, or you buy out the lease agreement, which could be thousands of dollars. Solar provider could go out of business during the contract period. SCE request approval of a PPA. Resolution E4851 grants Southern California Edison Company's SCE's request for commission approval of a new renewable power purchase agreement with Maverick Solar LLC. Maverick Solar. Where your money goes. 42 cents. Generation. Cost of energy sources including solar, wind, and natural gas, and generation SCE owns, including hydro and natural gas plants. 36 cents. Distribution. Grid maintenance and new equipment, including poles, wires, and substations. 8 cents. Transmission. Investment in operations and maintenance for high voltage transmission lines. 3 cents. Paying off long-term contracts from the energy crisis. 11 cents. Programs including those for energy efficiency and to protect low-income customers. The problem. Traditional power comes from a complicated system of power stations, substations, and transformers called the grid. This method of power is usually generated from burning coal, meaning it's dirty and non-sustainable. That also means that traditional power companies charge you more for power every year. If you get your power this way, you are stuck paying for rate hikes. The solution. Solar power comes from the panels installed directly on the roof of your home. You generate the power you need and become your own power company. Any additional power that your solar panel produces goes back into the grid, helping your neighbors to power their homes with clean, sustainable energy. You can lock in your rate for 30 years and not give your power a second thought. Benefits of a PPA. 6% to 13% annual increases versus price protection. On-peak, off-peak versus flat rate for power. Distribution and transmission costs versus local power, no distribution. Recording. Outbound call. Sequence of questions. Number 1. Have you had a chance to read the notices attached to your power bill? Number 2. Are you aware of the changes to rates? Number 3. How do you think the changes will impact your power bill? Number 4. Would you have considered locking in a flat rate if it would have been offered to you when you originally called to set up your electricity account? Number 5. What is more important, where your power comes from or how much you pay for it? Compensation. Phone transfers that result in an appointment set will be paid out at the end of the night at the following rate. Appointments set that result in a completed closing appointment will be paid out at the end of the night at the following rate. Bi-weekly pay. Completed closing appointments that result in a customer enrollment will be paid bi-weekly at the following rates. Commission examples. Schedule. Monday to Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m., 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. What's next?